Welcome back to the One Shot Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Vincent.
And I'm Johnny. Welcome back to the show. We have a great episode for you guys today.
Yeah, it's a great episode. We're recording in here.
Not right now. Hello?
Dude, what the fuck?
Dude, what's your deal? We're trying to record.
We're recording, dude.
I heard about the Halloween episode. I'm not invited?
Oh.
What's up?
All right. Cool.
Get over here.
Come on now.
Take a spot. Well, if you haven't guessed already by our intro, we have a special movie because today is a great holiday. Today is Halloween.
Yes, it is.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
I also brought in my Thanos glove because I was going to be Thanos. Also, it's just a really cool birthday present that I got. So,
yeah, that's fair.
But if you couldn't tell, we're joined again by a great friend and a great guest we had on the show.
Yeah, he was on for the Batman,
Yep.
which was episode 5.
Yep. You got it right this time.
I got it right today. I've been known to call that episode 3, which was the Breakfast Club. My apologies. I noticed. I said it again in the last episode that just came out, which was Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
I said it in the beginning, and I got fleeced for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how you been? It's been a while.
Yeah.
It has been a while. I mean, it's not like I'm your roommate. You know what I've been up to.
Yeah, I
Haven't
know.
been in here in, probably almost 8 months, 6 months?
Yeah.
Probably something like that. We did the Batman a while ago.
Yeah, we did the Batman just a while ago.
Yeah.
Back in April, I think. Right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Around
So-
there. But yeah, I've been getting in the spirit of things, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it. You had the whole get up.
Oh
I
yeah.
know. I like that.
Oh
It's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Spooky
Yeah.
season.
But so we brought Andrew here because he's in love with these movies. He loves these. He loves Michael Myers. He loves everything about these. So it would have felt wrong to do an episode without him on the podcast.
Yeah, it felt very appropriate.
Yeah.
And I know personally, I'm not a big Halloween movie fan, so I don't know much about them. I've only seen maybe like 1 or 2 of them. I'm just not big into them, but I do like horror movies. This is just not my kind of thing.
See, I never saw the original until yesterday. I saw the 2018 remake, and I saw some of Halloween Kills. I don't really remember it because I was carving pumpkins at the time.
That's cute.
So like I watched, yeah. Don't patronize me. But you've watched every single one of them, haven't you?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
And technically, how many are there?
Technically, and these aren't all part of the same like canon universe. Like
Right.
they canceled some of them and then redid some of the ones.
Okay.
But the one that just came out, Halloween Ends, is the 13th movie.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But
Fast
there
and
aren't
Furious is
13 movies that you
almost there,
watch
too.
that are all connected. Some of them are weird.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember you were telling me some of them are canon, some of them aren't.
Right.
They had to scrap, like,
Yeah.
not scrap.
They
Yeah.
did. They had to throw
But,
away
like,
entire
yeah.
timelines because they
Right.
just got so messy.
Right.
That's not good.
Yeah, there's like a whole like chart on how to watch the movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's just like Fast and the Furious. You got to watch like Fast and the Furious. You got to watch like 1, 2, 5,
Yeah.
3, 6.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
never
Saw does
understand
something
that.
like that too, where
Saw
like
does.
Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those movies are all canon, but still you're supposed to watch them a certain way and it's not in
Right.
sequential order.
Mhm.
I don't
I
know why
like-
they decide to do stuff like that.
I like.
but
Yeah, I never
liked
understand that.
Jigsaw. Have you guys seen Jigsaw?
I don't know if I have. Maybe. Years ago?
Jigsaw was the
It was on
prequel.
Hulu for a while. It was like the modern-ish version one
Was that
Okay.
the one with
where he has the lasers and like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
lasers
yeah, yeah.
come down
I didn't
and then
yeah.
you find out that
Spiral is the one I haven't seen yet.
That
The one with Chris Rock.
that's newer, right?
that-
Yeah, that's even newer.
That's the newest one, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
But I did see Jigsaw. Jigsaw was good.
I like Jigsaw.
Mhm.
That was like one of the first kind of like I guess you could say Halloweeny
yeah,
esque
it's
movies.
kind of
you've-
like a slasher.
Yeah, that was like kind of one of the first ones I saw, and I really
Okay.
enjoyed it. But yeah, that's mainly the one I really liked was Jigsaw. Watched it on Hulu. Luckily, I didn't get any ads through it.
Hey,
That's
that's
a
a good thing.
surprise.
That's a big plus.
That's
right
a big
there.
W.
It really is.
That really is. That's nice.
But back to this episode. Halloween 1978, the OG.
This is released on October 25th, 1978.
Not on Halloween.
Not yet, which is kind of
And
surprising.
do you want to tell us why they do that? You explained
why
they don't release Halloween movies on Halloween.
So that the actual day is scarier. They want to give you a little more time.
Right, and you were also telling me, so like if your favorite holiday is Halloween and they release this movie on Halloween and it's a shit movie, doesn't ruin the holiday for you.
Right, you still have another couple days to kind of make up for it.
Right.
That's fair. So this movie has a R rating, obviously. Yep. And the runtime was an hour and a half.
Yeah. And we're doing this movie for one of two reasons. Number one, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Number two, Halloween Ends just came out recently.
It did.
So what a better time than to do the OG Halloween. You saw Halloween Ends. Give us just a little perspective into it.
So there are a lot of homages to the original movies. Stuff that isn't canon, it's not mentioned, but it's kind of alluded to. You know, there's a spin-off movie about like this toy maker who makes these evil masks I was telling you about.
Yeah,
it's
you
Halloween,
said Halloween 3. Yeah.
And throughout the new trilogy, they've sprinkled in those masks, even though they're not evil
really?
masks.
That's cool.
But yeah, a bunch of kids can be seen wearing the Halloween 3 masks.
And aren't they like a pumpkin face?
One of them's a pumpkin, one of them's a skeleton, and one of them's a witch.
Gotcha.
And so there are a bunch of little homages. The original title font in Halloween Ends is the one from Halloween 3. It's this kind of ugly blue one where normally we're used to seeing like an orange.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a bunch of minor details that are just kind of hinting at other things that were better.
Okay.
Right.
I wasn't a huge fan of the movie. That being said, I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
You know, I've said so many times that I've liked movies or disliked movies, but that it's changed over time.
Now, where did you watch it? Did you is it on like HBO or is it
on Peacock. It
Peacock.
came out on Peacock, and it's also in theaters.
Okay. So, guys, if you want to watch Halloween Ends, check out Peacock. So yeah. But let's get back into this. I mean, I know we're jumping around all over the place, but that's just because there's a lot to talk about this whole franchise.
It's tough to talk about just one movie when there are so many connected movies to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's how do you separate, the original movie from all of the predecessors, all of these details that kind of bring other plot points in, but none of that matters when you're talking about the first one. It's tough to decipher.
Right, and that was kind of like our issue with Endgame. We were doing a bunch of callbacks. That's literally our first episode ever, Endgame. Go check it out. It's a really good one.
Yeah, visually it looks fantastic.
No, it doesn't. That was like when we were just starting out. We didn't get
the ropes going.
Yeah, we didn't really have the best equipment.
No.
Now we kind of have better equipment, but
we're getting there.
We still have room to improve.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were doing all these callbacks to
all these other movies.
Iron Man, Captain America, Civil War, like all of them.
You kind of just have to tell the story.
Right.
So.
And they make it too easy to relate these callbacks.
Yeah.
So.
That's so true.
But yeah, who wants to read the plot, guys?
Do you want to, Andrew?
Sure. So, the year is 1963, the night of Halloween. Police are called to the Myers house, only to discover that a 15-year-old Judith Myers has been stabbed to death by her 6-year-old brother Michael. After being institutionalized for 15 years, Michael breaks out on Halloween night. No one knows, nor wants to know, what's going to happen on October 31st.
October 31st.
Besides Michael Myers' psychiatrist, Dr. Loomis. He knows Michael's coming back to Haddonfield, but by the time the town realizes it, it'll be too late for many people.
It's very true.
I agree. I like that.
It's very true.
Pretty good.
He kills a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not really. He kills like 5.
Yeah. 4. But
4?
Goes for a 5th, which is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah. He killed...
Lynda.
Well, first he killed the truck driver and stole his jumpsuit.
Yeah, the mechanic.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Then he killed...
Did they show that? Did I just miss it?
That was all off screen.
They didn't show it. They just show the body.
Because I was confused because we watched this last night in our apartment and I was very confused. I was very confused because he was telling me, he was like, there's the truck, you see the matchbox, and I was like, when did we didn't see any of this?
Yeah.
I was just very thrown off. So, okay, truck driver.
Well, first, okay, Judith, truck driver.
Well, Judas, truck driver. Okay.
Annie, Lynda, Bob. He killed 5 people.
Okay.
Yeah. So, by today's standards, not that bad. And the movie has very little blood.
Yeah.
It does. I feel like that's just because of how old this movie is. At the
Well,
time,
yeah.
it was harder to show.
Dude,
killing
1978. Are
somebody.
you kidding me?
Even with I've noticed this. Maybe I'll say this for later. Yeah, I'll save it for later. I don't want to mention it now.
I did like this plot. I did. The only thing is pacing with this movie, and I understand.
Yeah,
That
was a concern of mine.
I'm not taking this movie down because of the pacing of this movie, because it is 1978. It's just starting out pretty much. So I'm not gonna harp on the pacing of this movie.
Yeah.
Because I understand that it is an old movie.
This is a very old movie.
So what is it? Do some math, John.
That's not gonna happen.
All right.
It's over 40 years old. I think it's like 43.
1978. 44.
44.
Okay.
You were close.
That's
Quick
wild. I
maths.
can't believe it's almost 50 years.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
It's crazy. And we're reviewing it. It's wild. I mean,
On
it's cool,
Halloween.
though.
They're still talking
Yeah.
about it, so that's something to...
They're still making them.
Yeah.
Well, I
No,
don't
this
know.
is it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well,
That was-
supposedly.
that was it, apparently.
So they say.
So they say.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But for me, I wasn't really a big fan of this series. Mainly because I just didn't know much about it. So I go into this first one watching it this morning and last night, and I'm thinking how the fuck did this guy just not
Die?
die?
Yeah.
He shrugs everything off.
Yeah.
Stabbed in the eye.
Stabbed in the neck.
In the neck.
Do you wanna
Multiple gunshots.
tell John about the mask?
Oh, yeah. My mask has a little neck stab in it.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
To keep the continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And the
really
new
neat.
masks that you can get from Spirit Halloween or whatever, they all have the hole in it too.
That's
Also,
sick.
aren't some of them burnt too?
Right, so
from the fire at the 2018
in
one?
2018, yeah, there's a fire, and he part of his mask gets singed. And
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question though. For oh my god, I lost my
What
train of thought. Completely lost my train of thought.
Well, you look comfy over there, dude. You're just you're chilling in
I'm
your chair.
very, very warm right now.
Oh my god, it is, and we don't mention this at all, but we are sweating so much
It is
in this
so
studio.
hot in here.
It is so hot. There is no AC in here. It is hot as balls.
Locked in a soundproof room. Nobody
just
will know.
just
that we're in
equipment
here.
emanating heat. It's bad.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand.
And the room is all black.
Yeah. We are hot as fuck in this
It's
room.
very, very warm in here. Yeah,
You
I
just don't
think
got
of
it.
When I think of it, I'll ask you.
Okay.
But I can't think of it at the moment.
So, I mean, we all said we really like this plot.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing.
It's a very simple plot.
Yes, and
there's
it's-
nothing super detailed about it. It's very cut and dry, very straightforward. The original idea, the pitch for it was just a babysitter gets stalked. That's
pretty
all
much
it was.
Yeah.
Someone needed a horror movie for their distribution company.
Right.
Someone was pinned to write a script. That person was John Carpenter.
Yeah. I mean,
But it wasn't going to be called Halloween until very late in the production.
do you know
Okay.
what it was going to be called?
The Babysitter Murders. Kind of
Yeah,
lame.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of lame. And so what happened was I think it might have been Malik Akkad. I'm not sure who it was. But one of the execs looked up and saw if Halloween was used as a movie title before. And it wasn't.
That's very surprising.
And so they just said, hey, let's run with it. Let's set the night on Halloween and call the movie Halloween because it hasn't been done yet.
Right.
yeah.
So that detail was so late into, it was added before production started, but it was so late in the writing process, and now it's so synonymous with the holiday,
Yeah,
and it
of
wasn't
course.
even originally intended to be for
Right.
the holiday.
Yeah. I mean, it, excuse me. It came out really close to Halloween though too. So I mean, it was kind of perfect marketing.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Imagine if they didn't have Halloween based in this film. I think it
no.
just wouldn't be
It
as good
wouldn't,
or
no.
as scary.
Well, because
it'd just be one guy walking around with a mask rather than...
That's what's so
other
scary
people.
about it, is that you don't know
adds-
where he is because everyone's dressed up.
It adds
like-
another scary element to it, which is nice.
Well, I actually saw on TikTok a clip from like one of the other movie, like one out of the 13 ones,
Yeah.
and it's literally like, it's not Michael, but it's somebody wearing the Michael Myers mask, and a cop car just
That's
pulls
Halloween
up and
too.
just,
That's what I was watching
and
last
just
night.
rocks him.
No.
That's what I was
It's
watching
so
last
funny.
night.
Oh,
It is
God.
so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember what my question was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was watching a YouTube video on some Easter eggs about this film, and there was one about the mask. Can you explain why they chose that mask?
There's a whole there's a whole lore about that mask. Originally, John Carpenter, or I'm sorry, not John Carpenter, Tommy Lee Wallace, the production designer and artistic designer, he was told to get a mask. And he went to the dollar store. He got the 3 cheapest masks he could find. I think he had gotten maybe not a Ronald Reagan mask, but he got a Spock mask, a Captain Kirk mask, and I think a clown mask. And they tried all 3 of them, and none of them really looked too good. But then, out of nowhere, Tommy Lee Wallace decided to rip off the sideburns, rip off the eyebrows, paint the face white, and spray paint the hair black, or like a brownish.
Yeah.
And then he just wore it. And when people saw him, they literally shat their pants. Because it was just so creepy.
Yeah.
There was something almost human about it, but it wasn't totally human. And that's, But originally it was supposed to be a clown mask. That's what they wrote in the script. That's what he wore as a child. And it was supposed to be kind of like a frowny clown. Almost like what we saw in Dark Knight, if you remember those
about
clowns.
to say,
Yeah, those are fucking weird too. So.
Yeah. But it would have been a very different vibe.
They also kind of showed up in The Batman, on the subway.
No,
a little
I
bit.
think so too.
But
That's
yeah,
funny.
we were
I
supposed
just
to
realized
That's a
funny
great
how we just
connection.
referenced that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good connection.
Callback to a callback to a callback.
Yeah. But with a great plot comes a great cast.
Yeah, I mean, this cast is kind of small but large. If you really think,
Yeah.
like, it's
It was very small.
right.
The production and the budget of this was very, very small.
Yeah,
They all worked out of one trailer,
yeah.
Catering was super cheap,
They didn't have a huge budget for this
No.
film, and we're
Not
gonna
at
get
all.
into that down the line.
Mhm.
But up first, we have Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, and she is known for majority of these Halloween movies.
Pretty much.
But she is also known for True Lies, Knives Out. Go check out that episode. Great episode.
Great episode.
Glass Onion coming soon.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't wait for that movie.
I know. December, right?
December.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm super excited for that. We got to take
know.
advantage of that when that comes out.
We do.
She is also in Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan, which we don't really talk about that
Yeah,
much
let's-
because, we try to push that aside a little
Let's
bit.
leave that.
I liked that movie. I thought it was funny.
You
Let
did?
that be.
Christmas with the Cranks with Tom,
Yes.
Tim Allen.
Yes.
Yep. And I mean that's pretty much it. She's been in a bunch of other movies.
She's been in a
but
lot of stuff.
yeah,
Fish
I
Called
mean-
Wanda.
You
Yes.
know, she was actually in Beverly Hills, Chihuahua.
Really?
Oh, right, she was.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't really remember that much either.
haven't-
She was one of the ants.
Yeah.
I think she was. I don't remember the name.
Right.
but
She
I
had
just
the
know-
little Chihuahua dog, like the pompous one.
Yeah.
I remember
But I
that
thought
now.
that was funny. She was in that movie. And then she was in a bunch of TV shows. She was actually in the show New Girl for a few episodes.
Really?
She played Joan Day, which is Jess's mom.
Oh, okay.
So I know we talked about New Girl in our last episode, Into the Spider-Verse with Gabe.
Yeah.
And how
That's-
you guys never really
Yeah.
watched that much. But that's such a great TV show. So
Yeah, it is. And apparently, I'm seeing here that she is going to be in a new Disney movie, a remake of The Haunted Mansion.
really,
What do you think of that, Andrew?
Haunted Mansion. That doesn't have a good track record. That's what you said,
What?
right? Haunted
Yeah,
Mansion.
Haunted Mansion.
Doesn't
sorry.
have a good track record.
Why you didn't like the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion? I did. I thought it was cool.
You act so surprised. You didn't like it?
I like the Haunted Mansion. I thought it was like, as a kid, I mean, the Haunted Mansion always freaked me out as a kid.
I don't know.
Like, it really did. It always freaked me out.
No, really?
Especially the
Never
scene where she has to the kid has to grab the key and all the dead bodies are coming out of the what's it called? The not cemetery, but it's the Coliseum.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always freaked me out.
Yeah.
Like all the dead hands. No, I still don't like it. And then the spiders. Nope. I never liked it. Never liked it. Who do we got up next, Joe?
Up next we have. Let's see here. Let me pull it up. We have Donald Pleasence and
Pleasence. Yeah.
Pleasence.
He's a pleasant guy, John.
And he is Mr. Sam Loomis in Halloween. He is the doctor kind of guy,
Psychiatric,
right? The psychiatric guy.
Good old Loomis.
And he is known for Halloween 2. He's also in You Only Live Twice, and The Great Escape, among some other projects.
So
hasn't really acted since the 90s, but
he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
well,
you guys
good
know,
job, John.
You guys know about Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, right?
How about no?
Yep.
Yeah. So that
Mike
character
Myers.
was based off of Donald Pleasence.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
because
I didn't know that.
because he was a James Bond villain.
Oh.
And so he was the one who had like the eye thing, and he was bald.
Right.
So it's funny that someone named Mike Myers
Oh, wow.
parodies.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's actually really
there's
funny.
a nice little callback to a callback.
That's funny. But yeah, he did a lot of work. He started acting.
He's a classically trained, British actor.
He's
Yeah.
British? Damn.
Yeah, started
Right.
acting in 52 and did a project, what seems multiple projects every single year
Yeah.
up until 96.
Yeah, he was
So-
the usually with a lot of these low budget horror movies, there's a bunch of unknown actors and then there's one veteran actor who can kind of give the movie some credibility. In
He is
Star
that
Wars,
veteran actor?
Yeah, in Star Wars, Mark Hamill was unknown, Carrie Fisher was unknown. The person who drove the production was Alec Guinness, old Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He was the only one who had some credibility to his name.
Now it's fucking Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
even in the reboot, not the reboot, the prequels, it was Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And what's funny is
And
that
now sorry.
No, you're good. What's funny is that Dr. Loomis originally was supposed to be played by Christopher Lee.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Count Dooku, Dracula. He
That's
turned
really cool.
it down. Then they approached Peter Cushing, who is Grand Moff Tarkin, and
Yeah.
he's also the Van Helsing character from Frankenstein.
That's cool.
So it's funny how Peter Cushing almost played, like the Hunter in 2 monster movies.
I think Tarkin would have been good for
They
Loomis.
both would have
I
been
really
good.
do.
Been pretty cool.
The script was written with them in mind, but they both thought it was just a crappy, stupid, low-budget movie.
Wow.
Yeah, they both turned it down. They actually said, Christopher Lee said he regretted it.
yeah. Well.
But I mean, if you think about it now, who knows if they would have played the characters that they played now?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
Yeah, and
it's all
I
something
love
you have to.
I love Donald Pleasence in it. He always puts in 100%. I know we're not going to talk about the sequels, but he is the one who carries the sequels, especially when they start to get dumb.
I shot him
His
6 times.
Yeah, his performance in all of them is so funny. He goes like crazy in part 5. He literally shakes like a 9-year-old girl, saying that Michael's gonna kill you. He dug up a coffin for a 9-year-old girl.
Oh my God.
He's literally a
boy.
danger.
Good old Loomis.
Yeah, but in this movie, he's a little more sane.
He's very calm. And
He's
just-
very quiet,
and like
Yeah.
but he's
like,
still like
he's so frantic, but
I
at the
know.
same time, he's just sitting there at the Myers house. Just
yeah.
like, coming home, Michael.
Yeah, as
Like,
if
come
you
on.
ever, if
Yeah.
you ever watch the sequels, what do you think is going to happen to a person when every Halloween he breaks out and no one listens to you? You're going to get a little
Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Yeah, you're going to
Right.
get a little
Exactly.
neurotic that no one's listening.
Right.
So it's interesting that it's just fun to see Dr. Loomis so many times.
No doubt.
But this is where he started.
So who do we have up next on our list?
Andrew.
Who do we have next? Not really sure I can see that.
Let's
Doesn't
do
really tell me.
Kyle Richards.
Okay.
Sorry, we're a little all over the place today.
We are, but it's okay. Let me pull it up.
Gotcha.
There you go.
So Kyle Richards plays a young Lindsey Wallace, who is the she's the
old
little
stupid
girl.
Lindsay.
She's the little girl that's being babysat by Annie.
Honestly, Lindsay pissed me off.
Oh yeah.
Lindsay?
Yeah.
You didn't like her?
She pissed me
No.
off.
Why?
She didn't listen to Annie.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
She
Oh
was
yeah, she
annoying.
just hang up.
What about the
She just
dog?
hung up on the boyfriend.
Oh
yeah.
my god, I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go tell her. Click. I started.
We
pissing
had a
myself
back and forth
laughing.
on that because I wasn't sure if she
Yeah,
actually
he
did
was like-
hang up.
He was like, I was like,
Because I know she talks
just
to him
hung up.
later. I know she talks
Yeah.
to him later,
Yeah.
but he just kept calling. But she
Yeah.
did hang up on him.
I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
What was she in?
I'm not really sure what else she's been in. She did come back for Halloween Kills
And Ends apparently.
and for Halloween Ends. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Real Housewives. That's interesting.
It seemed like she was.
She's 53. Wow, I would not have thought that.
Yeah.
From what I see here, she was in The Car. That was a movie from '77. I don't.
Wait, what is it called? It's called In the Car.
No.
The
Sorry.
Car.
The Car.
Oh, okay.
She was in The Car.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. I was like, what?
Yeah, it seems
like,
like
what
Halloween,
car was she in?
It seems like Halloween is her biggest role, though.
Yeah, it seems like Halloween is her biggest claim to fame.
Yeah.
She comes back in a couple of them. Apparently, she comes back in.
In Halloween
Uh,
Kills and Ends.
Yes, but she also
Okay.
did a Halloween The Inside Story. So I guess it's like, behind the scenes
Yeah,
or
like
like
a little documentary.
what life was like on set, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Um,
She was also in The Hunger Games too.
no,
Really?
that's the Hungover Games.
Oh, never mind.
That's
Oh.
the spoof.
That's the
That's the
spoof.
spoof.
Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, we never do.
But who do we have up next?
Up next, we have Tony Moran, or Moran.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Tony Moran.
Tony Moran. He is known for, of course, this movie here. He comes back in Halloween Kills. He is also known for
Does
Clown.
he actually?
Yeah.
Does he actually come back for
You-
Kills?
That's what you told me last night.
No, Nick Castle comes back.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's kind of like a one-off actor. He didn't do too much.
Yeah. He.
Yeah.
It says he's in Halloween Kills.
It's possible he is. I didn't know he was back into acting. I know that Nick Castle came back.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's possible. They always throw people in.
So we have 3 different Michael Myers here. So we're just gonna we'll say this now. So we have Nick Castle, we have Tony Moran, and then the last one was Tommy Lee Wallace. So yeah, I mean, we're not gonna go too much into them. They're Michael Myers. They don't speak. They don't really do much.
Yeah. So
So,
anybody could play them, really.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, basically Nick Castle played Michael Myers when he had the mask on, because he had like the right head for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Wallace played Michael when he had to smash through the door, because he's the production designer.
Right,
he knows where to hit the marks.
Gotcha.
And when Jamie Lee Curtis pulls off the mask and you see Michael with the messed up eye, that's Tony Moran.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
That's a good
But
fun
for
fact. I
for
never knew.
majority of the film, it's actually Nick Castle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he's the one who did the famous head tilt that we
Yeah.
all know now.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
He just decided to do it like a child looking at a piece of art.
So we got a few more people on this list, so let's kind of just run through them
Yeah.
real quick. So we got Nancy Kyes as Annie.
Annie Brackett.
Annie Brackett, that's it. And she is known for Halloween. Wait, what? Hold on. Fucking timeout.
Yeah. She's in a lot.
Halloween 2,
Mhm.
Halloween 3,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween Kills. You
Wait,
know
wait,
what?
No,
you know what?
let me explain it.
I
real
was just
quick.
going to leave it alone.
Real quick, let me explain it.
Okay.
So, in Halloween 2, they show her dead body
I figured
because
that.
the sheriff sees her.
I figured that.
Okay.
Halloween 3 is a one-off movie, so it's disconnected from the
right,
other
it's
movies.
different. That's the mask one.
Right. So she plays like the ex-wife of the main character.
But that don't.
She's a different character. Her hair's a little different.
Can you still tell it's like Annie though?
It looks like her, but she doesn't.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's.
It's like when they reuse a lot of the same cast members. She was also in Assault on Precinct 13 and The Fog. All these movies were by John Carpenter. You know how Tarantino has a cast that he reuses? Rob Zombie does it.
Right.
John Carpenter does the same thing.
Right.
And what they did was, even though Halloween 2 is no longer canon in the new trilogy, they reused a shot of her like dead body because her father had to like put the cloak over her or something.
Right.
Gotcha.
So even though the death was a little different in the previous timelines, they still just used footage for Halloween Kills.
Okay.
But it's old footage. She didn't come back and be old.
Reshoot some stuff. Okay. Up next is Brian Andrews, and he plays Tommy.
He is not an actor, actually.
Really?
He stopped being an actor at a young age. They tried to bring him back for Halloween 2018, but he was no longer being represented by an agent. He just doesn't act anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But didn't you say he comes back in Halloween Kills?
The character does, but it's played by a different person.
Oh, I thought it was
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, what are the few roles he's been in, if any?
Brian Andrews, he has been in The Great Santini from '79, Days of Our Lives, 3 O'Clock High, and then there's some other off projects, but nothing big.
Well,
so
I mean, all right. Do you want to take the next one, Andrew?
Who's that? Charles Cyphers?
Yeah, go ahead. Pick whoever you want.
Yeah, he's another veteran actor. Has worked with John Carpenter a lot. He was in the first 2 Halloween movies. He was in Assault on Precinct 13, The Fog, also co-starring Nancy Kyes.
Yep.
So he uses a lot of the same cast.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Gotcha.
He was also in Someone's Watching Me, Grizzly 2, The Revenge, which is a really stupid movie, but you should watch it. It's
how you should watch Velocipaster.
It's actually a little. Oh wait, this is the new one.
I want to watch
Grizzly
Velocipaster.
2. Oh, I haven't seen Grizzly 2 actually. I saw the original Grizzly. It was like a play on the whole Jaws trope.
Okay.
There was
Gotcha.
killer shark. Now there's a killer bear. A killer bunny. There's everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but he's most known for his early TV work and Halloween, and he came back for Halloween Kills too.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, and the last person on this list, we have PJ Souls, who plays Lynda Kick. I can't see. Klok.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. She is known for Stripes, Rock and Roll High School, Carrie, Candy Corn, like an Uncle Sam horror thing. She was in a movie with John Travolta. The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. That's the John Travolta one.
Yeah.
Alienator, Hanukkah, a lot of stupid horror.
Seems that way.
It seems like a lot of these people stick to horror genre. A lot of them stick to just acting in horror.
Yeah.
Even though the acting was.
Yeah, no. I guess they're typecast.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, she's the chick who says totally all the time.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I told
so
you would
annoying.
get tired of her.
Yeah.
Dude,
totally.
But she's really good in Carrie. She plays one of the bullies.
Okay.
Yeah,
when I saw Michael going to kill Annie for the first time, I was like, yes, kill her.
I know.
And then like he's just creeping in the window and while she's doing her laundry, I'm like, come on, like do it. And then he doesn't do it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then she gets in the car, and I'm like, yes.
I was like, oh, here it is. I'm like, it's gonna happen right now. I'm like, okay. One thing I noticed though,
it was just so annoying
about that car sequence.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. She didn't even unlock the car. She just had the keys in her hand and opened the door.
But like that whole sequence was just.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed, I guess I know we're jumping around, but I'll say it
but
now
I mean,
while it's on my mind.
We're on the actors anyway, so I mean, we might as well.
One thing I noticed, nobody like screams.
No.
It's a lot of like moaning.
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot.
Very weird.
Even like when they're being killed.
Yeah.
They don't scream. They're like moaning, like sexualizing.
Yeah.
But it's super, super strange.
When
What's her name? Jamie Lee Curtis was on the phone, and
yeah,
her friend was getting
yeah,
killed.
yeah.
It sounded like she was having sex.
Yeah.
So
She was like, "Is this a joke?"
yeah,
Like,
and that's kind of the case throughout the entire movie.
yeah, I guess that's also why nobody really took it seriously. Also, I want to mention, how did nobody hear the honking of the car?
That's what I was saying.
Like, how did Jamie Lee Curtis not hear that?
Even though inside the garage.
But
I mean,
still,
granted,
you can
there would be
hear
some muffling,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't know.
Car horns are loud, especially back then. They were fucking loud.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of strange.
Yeah. But the director, as we mentioned multiple times, John Carpenter, and we mentioned a bunch of his work, so we're not going to go too much into him. Visual effects, really not many.
The only thing I noticed was the lack of visual effects on gunshots.
Like the flare.
They only had a little flare.
It's 1978,
but
man.
then again, yeah.
They don't have the technology.
So it's good for what it was.
But also, like, visual effects also kind of isn't just...
They didn't really need
Isn't really just CGI. It's also
they had a lot
blood.
There was a lot of practical effects.
Right. But the thing is, like, so when Michael kills his sister, you see the blood on his sister, but you don't really see blood anywhere else. You don't see blood coming from Annie's throat after Michael slits her throat. You don't see really any of that, and
it's very stylized. It's meant to not be super bloody.
Yeah, but so that's kind of what I was looking for at the same time too.
A lot of people think of Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 as these really bloody, gory movies, but they're not.
That's what I thought it would
Texas
be.
Chainsaw Massacre is.
No, it isn't. The first one?
I might not have watched the first one.
The very first one, there's very little blood, and yet everyone thinks there is. I mean, sure, there is blood, but not nearly as much as people expect. A lot of it is, off screen or. But there were a lot of practical effects in this movie.
Yeah.
One thing I did like, in the beginning when he put the clown mask on and like
the transition
killed his sister, the transition was a little wonky.
Yeah.
Between the mask,
it showing that it cut to black and then.
Yeah, but I liked how they showed the camera or through his like point of view.
Yeah, through the mask.
I think that was really well done.
Yeah, it really was.
And then it also let them not show her being stabbed, so it was like it was a win-win there.
Yeah. Even though it's rated R, you probably could have gotten away with it. But.
Was there any F-bombs in this?
I don't know.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
There's more in the most recent trilogy than there are.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. In the new ones, it's like
Jamie Lee Curtis goes off the rails.
Yeah.
Like she literally just goes, "Fuck this, fuck that." You know.
Well, you know what? You think that's
he's
bad.
gonna fucking kill you.
If you watch the Rob Zombie remakes,
I
don't know if you guys have ever seen a Rob Zombie movie, but he has a very specific way of writing people.
Okay.
They are kind of like white trailer trash. They have
That's
horrible tongues.
Fun.
It's hilarious to watch.
Really.
But yeah. Everything in that movie is literally F this, F that. It's
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
It's definitely fun though. You should watch it.
But like we said, there's really not a lot of visual effects. There's a few things that we can talk about, like.
You want to talk about the window?
Which one?
When he cracks the window in the the movie.
Yeah.
The car window.
Yeah, like she's like huddled inside, and you see the hand come down. If you look, and you pause it, there's a wrench in his hand.
Yeah.
And they kind of lazily spray. I'm not sure if they even did spray paint it.
It looked like tannish.
Yeah,
it did.
It might have been like, but yeah.
But like it didn't match the color of his hand at all.
No, you could still tell if you look for it.
I saw it, and I didn't pause it to look at it. But I'm like, what? There's
you're like
something in his hand.
Yeah, you're like that.
Like he couldn't.
That doesn't look.
It just didn't look great.
But also, you can see when he's trying to kill Jamie on the big glass door. You get there's one shot. You get the shot. And all of them are clear, foggy, clear. And it's like, I literally turn to him and I go, she's going to break the glass, isn't she? He goes, how did you know? It was foggy.
I wonder which one she's going to hit.
Of course. Come on.
But also, fucking, when he stabs Bobby, fucking.
Oh.
Dude, he doesn't even move.
I was so shocked when you were like laughing at that.
Well, dude, I was like, how the fuck is he? It's a knife about probably this big.
It's definitely not practical.
Not at all.
You can't.
Through,
and
like,
also,
a little thin door. That would have he would have fallen off.
This dude is probably like
$1.60.
$1.80.
Yeah, like
he would have his knife. It would have he would have fell.
Yeah.
I don't know about
And-
that.
and,
I think
like-
it was very funny.
Like, yeah, it was hilarious. And like Andrew said, that's where we get the famous head tilt. Like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to be hanging up like that.
Yeah, you
I
said
know.
it's like you said. I think Michael's surprised by the
Yeah.
fact that it worked, which is
Yeah.
funny to think about.
He is one strong motherfucker too.
Dude,
He's
he
very-
used
had him
one
up
hand.
with one hand.
Well, he uses one hand to strangle them all the time. Like he did it with Annie.
Yeah.
I think he used two hands with what is it, Lindsay, Lynda,
Lynda, he choked her
Lynda.
with like
the cord.
phone
So I
cord.
think I think
Yeah.
he had to have used two hands most
Yeah.
likely.
I would assume so.
But majority of the time he's using one hand to fuck these
He's a-
bitches up.
I know.
Yeah, he's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Definitely. But
But-
should we move on to some cinematography?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much visual effects here,
There-
so.
Yeah, not much. But in terms of cinematography, I had one that I really enjoyed. It was the first scene, actually, when Michael is creeping on his sister and her
Yeah.
boyfriend. The handheld camera shot just had like a creepy feel to it.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it because like instantly you're like, all right, we're getting started.
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen, and it was really nice. And another thing about that same shot, it was one continuous shot
Yeah.
until his parents got home.
I mean, hey,
One shot.
one shot, that's us.
So I thought that was fitting.
I'm
That's
gonna
literally where our
I'm
name
gonna
comes
ruin
from.
it for you. It wasn't.
No?
No, there were breaks.
It didn't look like it.
I
but-
know when you want to know why that part where he puts the mask on
Mm-hmm.
looks so weird.
Because they had to
They're two different shots.
they had to cut it.
They're
Yeah.
two different shots, but that's how he was able to save two
Right.
shots and kind of merge them into one.
Yeah.
And when he
Right.
opens the door, that's another changing shot right before the parents see him.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Gotcha.
you'd have to adjust the exposures on the cameras and everything.
Right.
So
Almost one shot.
yeah,
But-
it was meant to be a one shot,
Gotcha.
and you wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah.
I did like I did but didn't like the transition. I liked that they did the transition to the clown mask, but I didn't like how it was done.
Mhm.
I like how they showed us, the shot through the clown mask because, it's more of a, kind of little spooky feel to it too. So it gives a little bit more feeling to the shots. Same with like all the times Michael's creeping around the corners. Like you can always usually see Michael in the background, but if you don't look hard enough, sometimes you actually might miss him,
Mhm.
and then you'll see it and you'll be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I
Like-
feel like that also gives this movie a lot of rewatchability.
Yeah,
Because every time you watch it,
you can be like,
um,
oh, he was here. Yeah.
I just knew to look for him in the background. of certain
Right,
scenes.
exactly.
Just because, like, I've
You
never
just
seen
but,
them,
but like
you just know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I feel like it's a known thing.
There was actually like one part that actually scared when he killed Bob. Yeah, but when he goes and he just grabs Bob, like actually freaked me out. Like I actually jumped just a little bit.
Mhm.
There were a little few times where I jumped. Nothing too scary, but like I jumped a little bit at that part, and then there was another part where I was just like, oh, that's really creepy. Like I didn't jump, but I was like, ooh, that's eerie. Like that kind of gives me the chills, or like makes me feel.
I
like,
was so happy that when right after Jamie Lee Curtis finds all of her dead friends,
yeah.
and she's kind of like hiding in the corner, and you see Michael's
Oh yeah,
mask
that was.
come in.
I told you.
I was
like,
so
Yeah.
glad you got chills from that.
yeah, I was like, that's
was
creepy. Like
because
that was weird.
that is debatably one of the creepiest shots in the movie.
And-
it's just
and-
seeing him come from the darkness.
And speaking of that, you see half of his face. You see half of his face dark and the other half
Mhm.
light.
Yeah.
But also, you see, I actually caught this because I had him rewind the movie. The camera tilts up.
Does it really?
The camera tilts up because I thought Michael was like up here, Jamie Lee Curtis was like down here. If you're watching visuals, you guys can see. Sorry, people who are listening. And it looked like Michael was up here, Jamie Lee Curtis was down here, and then Michael just like slowly comes down, and I was like, that looks so odd. And then I had him rewind it, and you see the camera actually tilt up, and I go, oh, that's a lot cooler now. Like
Yeah.
now seeing
Makes it look
that's a
more
lot
menacing.
better. Yeah.
It really does. With that like scene there, she's dumb for like I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but I didn't like how she just went from going into one corner to going into another corner. And then
Yeah,
going into
I
another
would have
one.
ran out of the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just like typical scary movie.
And then
person
Loomis
being
just
dumb.
comes in out of nowhere, just
Yeah. And even with that, when Myers like falls off the thing, you see his feet up on the ledge and like falls backwards.
Yeah.
But that's just
if you watch
the
second movie,
It's
Halloween 2 from 1981.
I even caught this.
Yeah, they had to go back and like reshoot some of that just because of how clunky it looked. But even still, with the reshoots, it looked almost worse.
So he watched the second one after the first one. I didn't watch the second one, but
they're good to watch one after the other.
But
maybe
I saw a scene and I go, that's not where he fell. I go, that's the front of the house. He fell at the back of the house. And he goes, yeah, they fucked up. And I go, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
So.
I wish we had done a double feature because I so desperately want to talk about Dr. Loomis getting crazy.
I know.
Maybe for
next year.
Next year's episode.
You'll come back. You'll drive up.
You don't know what death is.
Yeah,
you don't know.
It's so funny. He showed me that scene and it was so stupid and so funny.
Oh God.
Like he like runs outside and like talks to the neighbors and he's like, call the police. And he goes, is this a prank? I've been trick-or-treated all night. And he goes, he's like, I've been trick-or-treated to death. And Loomis just goes, you don't know what death is.
Like, he runs away.
It's just so stupid. It's so dumb.
Oh my God.
Music was a huge part of this movie.
I had that, like, the movie was the strong point of this film. And it kind of creates, or not, I wouldn't say create, because there already is a really creepy element to this film, but it adds to it and makes your emotions, like, tune up to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And
every time Michael's on screen, you know.
Exactly. And they had that going from the second the camera started. Yeah. So with the credits.
Like once, but also like once we actually see him escape, like it comes back.
Exactly.
And it's not even when he escapes that music's playing either, because we don't really know who escaped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We kind of really don't know until later on. Mm-hmm.
They test screened without music because originally they didn't have a score made.
Right.
And
I mean, technically they don't. They have one song.
Yeah. I mean, there's one other little bit I caught.
Well, there's other parts of there, but there's only really three musical beats.
Right.
There's the classic theme, the bum 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 bum.
Right.
And then there's like this kind of ambient thing, like when Laurie's being watched or when she's walking and stuff like that.
Right.
But without the music, a lot of people said it was so boring and it wasn't scary. But as soon as they put the music in, especially when you see that scene of Michael creeping in from the darkness, and there's this synthesized like, and you see his face light up, people freak out.
No, I would agree. I think that the movie had a lot of like white noise.
It did,
and that kind of was more impactful because it made the silence.
It kind of made it realistic,
creepier.
though, too.
Yeah.
It made it very realistic, and I think that's what scared people most of the time back in the 70s.
Because then I feel like when there's no music or like no sound,
it's a lot creepier.
You're waiting for that dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And me personally, I was like, I need something to happen now.
Yeah.
But I think like just the white noise and the not a lot of noise in general, just like made it a little creepier.
Yeah. There was one scene that I know. I want to jump real quick one time back into cinematography. There was one scene that I wish they would have reshot, and Michael's hiding behind the car, and he just stands up and he starts following. It was so dumb.
Yeah,
like Michael's this huge creepy guy, and just out of nowhere, he just stands up from hiding behind a car and then starts chasing. Like, come on.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
They could have reshot it and had the actor do the same exact thing, and it would have looked better.
Right.
They shot him from the front, so seeing this man on his, like, he's, like, crouched down, like,
literally, like, in a fetal position almost.
Yeah, like, why would you ever show Michael like that?
Yeah.
Rather have him, like, literally come super close to the camera.
Right.
But...
So, for this episode, we are going to do a special promo code. We're going to put it in the middle of the episode, too, so people don't scan through all the way to the end. So, today... the promo code for 15% off all of our new merch, which John is wearing right now, That is our crew neck. It looks fantastic, and it is comfy as hell.
It is. I wear it all the time.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
actually do too, and I'm not a huge crew neck person, but
yeah, you
like,
never. I feel like that's the only one I ever see you wear.
it's so comfy, dude.
It
It is
is.
so comfy. I think I lost my shirt though.
Damn.
I think the washing machine might have ate it.
Yikes.
Not
good.
But today's promo code is going to be Myers, MYERS.
Nice.
For Michael Myers, of course, for Halloween. So yeah, for 15% off, use code Myers, and what the fuck's going on?
Nothing.
To get 15% off your order. So go check that out at oneshotmoviepodcast.com.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna jump back into the acting. Bad.
Yeah. Not a
Bad.
big fan of some of this acting.
Yes, I get it's the 70s. I don't wanna take away from that because of how great these actors and actresses are now.
Yeah.
But it
At
was
the time,
bad.
not very good.
It's real bad.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't that good.
Nobody was.
I think she was the
very
best, but like she still wasn't that good.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Wh-
What are your thoughts, Andrew?
Oh, no, I totally agree. Donald Pleasence carries it.
Yeah.
Like, it's all of the adult actors who kind of carry it. The sheriff is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but I
wasn't
think
a big
Loomis
fan
was.
of him.
I even thought Loomis was pretty bad. He just was like, yes, he was like kind of frantic, but also like he just stood there waiting all night for Michael. Like, go look for him.
Yeah.
Like that's your. Come on. You keep saying, "Oh, he's gonna murder people. He's gonna murder." Okay, go find him so he doesn't.
That's more of a story issue than an acting issue.
Right,
though.
but still.
But I see where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
I liked Loomis. I thought he was good. I also enjoyed the sheriff's performance as well. So, kind of just like the younger people, their performances were kind of lackluster. But I understand it. They're young there. They're just getting started. So
they were in their teens.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis was 19. It was her first ever movie role.
Yeah.
And she was the lead, which was
I mean, good for her.
So.
Oh, honorable mention. Jamie Lee Curtis's mother is Janet Lee.
Yeah.
Who is the woman who gets stabbed to death in the shower in Psycho?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you know that classic scene,
Yeah.
That's her mother.
Okay.
And the main character from Psycho is also named Sam Loomis.
Yeah.
It's not the same person,
right?
But John Carpenter just liked that movie and
cool.
thought about
that's
making him called Sam.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And with that same thing, I think in Psycho, that Sam Loomis knows a Marianne. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning of this movie, the nurse or something that he drives
so Janet
with.
Leigh's character is Marion Crane.
Yeah.
And she dies pretty early on. But Marion is the nurse that he was in the car with.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was really cool.
Interesting.
It was a nice little Easter egg
They throw some names around and try to keep it connected.
I think that was pretty neat.
Script and improv. There's really not much. Script was. I would assume the script is just kind of as it is.
Yeah,
as
I thought
it was.
It was solid.
I mean,
I don't know.
I think the actors could have put a little more emotion into it. Not saying Jamie Lee Curtis didn't.
Maybe
because,
Jamie Lee Curtis improvised a song because they couldn't get rights to a lot of songs.
Oh, was it the one that she was singing down when she was walking?
Yeah. That shot. I understand why they did it, but it was too long.
Yeah.
It was too long.
But she was just on the fly. John Carpenter just said, "Sing something." Nothing that we can get sued for.
That was kind of weird though. Like it really was. Like she just started singing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You don't do that?
Not really.
We're different then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Me and John we're all thinking the same thing, but we're not allowed to say it. So, jump into some mistakes. There's actually a lot of mistakes that I actually picked up on.
Yes. I have one as well that I would totally want to mention.
So there's one where she's sitting on the couch with the kid, Tommy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get a wide shot of Jamie Lee Curtis and Tommy. Her knee is up on the couch. She's holding her knee. Cuts to a single shot. You don't see her knee up on the couch. Cut back to a wide shot. Her knee's down. You don't see any of that movement. So there's a continuity mistake. There's another one that I saw Oh God, I'm trying to remember it. Do you remember what I said to you? No, I said there was another mistake.
I have one.
Besides
I don't
the
know.
knee one.
I know that there was one. I forget the guy's name. Whoever was driving the blue car.
Bob.
Was it Bob? Bob,
yeah.
and what was the girl? Lydia?
Lynda.
Lynda. Okay,
Yeah.
so when
yeah.
when he's carrying her out of the car, he leaves the door open.
Right.
Oh,
And he never shuts the car door, but they show it later on with the car door shut.
Right.
It was very small, like a blink and you miss a moment, we always say. But it was something that I did catch on.
Yeah.
So.
Also, Bob's dialogue is a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
I would consider this a mistake.
He's a sussy.
I would consider this a bit of a mistake.
Since this movie's very old, I go ahead and say it, but just be careful of how you phrase it.
No, I'm not going to say it.
No?
No, I'm not going to say that. But they talk about what their plans for the night are, and as two drinking teenagers, you can imagine what they'd like to do.
Yes.
And so one person's clothes come off, another person's clothes comes off.
Bob says he's going to take Linda's clothes off, and then he said Linda's going to take Bob's clothes off.
Yeah.
And then they make a name mistake.
And then, I think they were supposed to mention Annie's name.
And they didn't. They mentioned somebody else's name.
They mentioned the girl that she was babysitting who was like 7.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking weird.
Everyone watched it, I'm pretty sure, and went, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think someone had a couple too many brewskis and wrote in the wrong name.
I think so.
So, yeah. I mean,
aside from that, though, I mean, a lot of visual mistakes. That's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
You can't really mess up the script that much with mistakes.
No.
There was another one that I saw. I can't remember it. If it comes to me, I'll let you guys know. But let's move on.
Yeah. So we'll move on to some Easter eggs. I had a couple here. I know Andrew's probably gonna have a few more than me.
Yeah.
Obviously. But I had a few.
Big Halloween guy.
Yeah. The Annabelle. There is an Annabelle doll in Jamie Lee Curtis's bedroom, and that was around the time that was like getting popular. That's one. Another one.
Well, Annabelle's a true story.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't
didn't know that?
Like I said, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah,
of
it's a
those
true story.
kind of
Like
movies.
the doll is locked up in the house somewhere. They actually moved her, like to a different spiritual case, I guess you could call it.
They have her locked up.
Yeah, they literally have it locked up. It's weird. It's
That's
a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's strange. My next one, in Jamie Lee Curtis's bedroom again, the poster in her room is of an artist who actually draws people with masks on.
Oh, that's fun.
So it was a subtle connection here with Michael Myers.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And my final one is not much of an Easter egg. It's kind of like a question for Andrew. I don't know if you have an answer to this, but
he said this exact same thing to me when we were
why
watching
does the doctor why does he say that Michael eats the dog? Like, I don't understand that.
There was some debate on that, actually, when they find the dead dog and, Dr. Loomis is looking. He goes, he got hungry. I mean, like, he could just be very melodramatic about it, but he did actually eat the dog.
Okay.
Or parts of it. Yeah.
With the pooch.
He's a 21-year-old, mental patient who has something wrong with him, and he has the maturity of a 6-year-old.
He doesn't in jail
care
for 15 years, so yeah.
He doesn't care about cooking. He doesn't care about... I mean, think about it. If it were you and you were pretty much just an animal, what else would you do?
Yeah,
right.
But
so he did eat the dog.
That's terrible, though.
Yeah. And there was a shot where Michael kills Lindsay's dog. Yeah, the German Shepherd.
Yeah.
And we don't see the whole thing, but we see from the waist down, and we see the dog go limp.
Yeah.
I was so sad when that happened.
Yeah.
It was a nice shot, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it really was.
Because it was their way of avoiding showing it.
Yeah.
So it was good.
It wasn't a dummy dog. The dog was perfectly fine. It was a trained dog.
Oh. Okay.
And the person holding him was a dog trainer.
Gotcha.
I don't know who played him in that scene, so that's why he's not credited as an actor.
Yeah.
But
I was so
they handled the dog with care, and I heard he lived a long life.
Good. Very good. That's really it for me for Easter eggs. I don't know.
I don't really have any other ones either.
Not really. I mean, more of the Easter eggs come in later movies,
right?
Which bring it back to this one. This one's tough
yeah.
to have a lot of Easter eggs.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Aside from what I mentioned with the callbacks to Sam Loomis and Mary and
right.
stuff like that, just a lot of homages to stuff that John Carpenter likes.
Right.
Oh, I do have one more Easter egg, actually.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
They're when Laurie's babysitting the kids,
yes.
they're watching a movie called The Thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, while we were watching, I said, oh, that's so funny. Because a couple years later, John Carpenter remade The Thing.
Right.
And
that was one of his big movies.
Yeah. And can I say this if it's a spoiler for Halloween Ends? It's not like anything huge. It's just a detail about.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
we warn people beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now you know. Spoilers.
Spoiler for Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Spoiler for Halloween Ends. If you watch that movie, there's a babysitter and a child, and they're just watching stuff on the TV, you know, and what they're watching is John Carpenter's The Thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. So. Okay. Years ago, they were watching The Thing from the 50s.
Original, right.
And then nowadays, they're watching The Thing from the 80s.
That's fine. That's cool.
That's pretty
and
cool.
John Carpenter is involved with the new movies.
Yeah.
He's
directing all of them?
He's not directing them, but he's a creative writer.
Okay.
He creates all the music for it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a musician, by the way, too.
Oh, okay.
Not just a director.
Cool. That's interesting.
Neat.
So he made all the music.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So now we're going to talk about kind of our favorite topic here. The movie ratings.
Yeah.
So IMDb gave this a 7.7 out of 10.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 96%. And Metacritic gave it... Sorry, it's taking a while to load. An 87. This is really good.
That's interesting. They're
It's
kind of
really-
all over the place.
A little bit.
I don't know.
It's 70, 80, 90 pretty much if you really think about it.
I'm in between. I think the 90 is too high. I think it's more of a nostalgic 90.
Yes.
And
I think
70 is a little low.
I think more so the 70 or the 90, like you said, it's for all those people that watched it when they were younger and are rewatching it now.
Exactly.
And are like, I remember this.
Cinema.
I love this. Like, this was great.
Yeah.
It still scares me to this day. Yada yada yada. All that stuff. So I think that's where that 90 came from.
That's what I thought so too.
It's hard to rate this due to the age.
Yeah.
That's my issue right now.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
But I mean, we'll get to that a little bit later. So, what do you think about these ratings?
I don't really do a lot of ratings, but what I usually think of is what else was out at that time. How is this compared to what else was around?
Right.
And so in 1978, there really wasn't anything around like it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in 76. A movie called Black Christmas came out in 74. But aside from that, there were no slasher movies.
Okay.
So for its time, it was...
I think because of just how new and different things were, and also because of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, people had these preconceived notions that horror movies were cheap, stupid, bloody snuff films. You know, they used real people during deaths or animals, and they actually did terrible things on set. Right. And it's not true. And I like that you get a movie that's shot well, you know, for the most part. There's time taken into just kind of everything. You know, the score is really good. The cast does what they can with what they're given.
Right.
It's a very short production. I don't know how many weeks it took them, but it wasn't long at all.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
And barely anyone got paid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
just
I figured.
because of
But now, like kind of we've all been waiting for, the budget and overall earnings.
Yeah.
Or how much it made opening weekend and then its overall earnings. The budget.
I was very surprised with this.
Well, he even told me that the budget was really, really small for this movie. And
this is one of those movies that you'll hear about, and it's like the perfect example of the unknown genius.
I feel like this was like a boom or bust, and it boomed.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of potential.
So the budget for this movie was $325,000. I know everybody was waiting for me to say million. Nope, $325,000. Still a lot of money.
How much is college tuition nowadays?
Love to have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to some of these Ivy schools or any big school. That's
how much you're
like
in debt. That's how much in debt you are.
Yeah.
That's after the first semester.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but
for a movie
budget.
production,
yeah, that's super small. And what did it make opening weekend?
Opening weekend, it made $1.27 million. So it made its money back and more.
And how much did it make overall, Andrew?
Over $73 million.
$73 million with a $325,000 budget.
That's chump change.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
Why do you think they made so many of them? They want to do it again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want that?
Well, Halloween 2, you said, was another hit.
Was it? Yeah.
It was. It wasn't as well received critically because
it was already done.
Well, yeah, and also because of so many copycat movies like Friday the 13th and stuff like that, they had to up the gore.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And there was no more suspense. The movie was a bit faster paced, which I guess at the time people wanted that.
Yeah.
But a lot of film critics were like, hey, this was a beautiful movie that was slow and almost painfully eerie, and you turned it into, a bloodbath when you had suspense and now you just have jump scares. So there's good and bad with both movies.
Yeah.
But you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice, and Halloween 2 was very different from the first one.
Definitely. So yeah, that is our budgeting and overall earnings. What about favorites?
Go ahead, Andrew. Yeah, go ahead first.
Favorite scene and a favorite quote, if you have.
So the scene and the quote go hand in hand, and it's when Dr. Loomis and the sheriff are inside Michael's house, and the sheriff is like, dude, I don't understand, why you're so worked up. And there's a really famous monologue, and
Do you want me to read it? I actually have it up.
You think I don't know this by heart? Go ahead.
Okay. I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding in even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Thank you for the
you're
ASMR.
Welcome. You're welcome.
There.
Yeah,
that was
no problem.
Awesome.
It's a lot, but that's a damn good quote.
Yeah. Just trying to give it more feeling, John. Come on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and how about favorite scene, bud?
If I had to pick a different scene other than that,
you could pick that one. That's fine.
Well, that entire quote is the scene.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just a long monologue.
It's so good, though.
Yeah, it's very good. One of my other favorite scenes is, and this is more of like a visual thing rather than word play, is when Laurie's, kind of leaned over. She already stabbed him a bunch of times. And she's, tired. The kids are running off, going to call the cops. And he just sits up and turns to her. Yeah. It's so creepy.
It's a famous... It's like a famous scene. It's,
and then she stands up, and then he stands up, and he kind of like rejuvenates. It's weird.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the famous scenes.
Yeah. And for me, I know that's my favorite scene or sequence. It's just... It's so well known. And you're like... You think he's done. You think he's he's shot. Like at the time, watching this for the first time, you're thinking, oh, okay, she stabbed him. Like he's actually gonna be dead.
She stabbed him like 3 times.
She got him in the eye. She got him in the chest.
And then you see him sit up, and I'm like, fuck.
This man, not
seriously.
And then he sends her over the stairwell. I'm like, shit. Yeah, well, she's fucked now.
Down.
Yeah, but one thing. I know this is getting off topic, but I wanted to mention before we end the episode. One thing I've read and watched about this movie, one of the reasons is that she survived is because she doesn't have that sexual
she's not promiscuous.
Yes, that's what it is. She's not promiscuous. Everyone else was blinded by their horniness.
So that's what they're saying?
Yeah. Because she was smart enough to make the smart decisions to keep her alive. Like her one friend that was waiting for Bob in bed.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, like, where's my beer?" Like she was just blinded by her just wanting sex.
Yeah.
And then she ended up dying. But Jamie Lee Curtis, she clearly doesn't. She's smart enough to make these right choices in order for her to survive.
That's interesting.
I
guess
just,
it's like a subliminal message.
Yeah,
to,
subliminal
it's subtle.
to
like,
teenagers back in the day.
It's not like if you have sex, someone's gonna go and stab you.
It's not like Mean Girls.
Like,
if you have sex,
you will die.
You will die.
Yeah, which they actually make a parody of that in Scream, because Scream's like a parody horror movie.
Yeah.
And they use Halloween as an example. And right when like she's trying to tease Michael when she's in bed and she goes like that, Stu goes, "She's gonna die right now. See what she did? She just sealed her fate." But yeah, no, that's a common theory, not just with Halloween, but with horror movies in general.
Yeah.
Same thing in Friday the 13th, which is just a knockoff of Halloween.
Exactly.
Right.
They screw around the camp counselors, and then they get stabbed.
Stabbed.
Yeah.
John, what's your favorite quote?
I don't really have a favorite quote. I'm gonna be honest.
You suck.
I couldn't really come up with one.
I know. I mean, it is a little hard. I did just find one that I did really like.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is the kind of like last conversation between Laurie and Loomis.
Mm.
It was the boogeyman. And Loomis goes, "As a matter of fact, it was."
That was pretty good too.
And my favorite scene is actually when Michael tries to stab Laurie for the first time. Because like I said, I liked how he came
behind the couch. That one, or was it?
No. After she found the bodies. After she found her friends.
Oh yes.
He's in that dark little doorway, and like I said, the camera tilts up, but you also got the half of his face black, half of his face white. And I really liked it, and I thought it was cool. And it the reason I'm choosing it is because it actually made me feel a little like, ooh, like that's weird, that's creepy, like I don't like that. So that's pretty much it.
That was nice.
Time to wrap it up, tie it with a bow. Overall ratings for everybody are 3 different scales.
Yep.
Acting, plot, and overall. Andrew, special guest, go ahead, take it away.
On a scale of 1 to 10, right?
Yes,
1
sir.
to 10, acting, plot,
Acting,
and overall.
plot, and overall.
Acting would probably be like a 6.
Right.
That's fair.
There's nothing to really ride home about it. They weren't terrible, but I'm not going to say they were good.
Right.
Plot is good. I like the simplicity of it. It doesn't need to be convoluted or complicated. I'd say that's like an 8.5. And overall, I would say, a solid 8.
Okay.
Solid 8. It's good. It's nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's classic. It holds up.
That's fair.
I'm around the same. My acting, I'm going 6. Plot, I'm gonna go with an 8. It's classic. It's a great plot. It works really well, very smooth. And overall, I'm gonna go with a 7. I think the acting kind of just brings it down.
That's
just 'cause
true.
It's kind of poor.
But
it was a really enjoyable movie.
yeah,
So
it really was.
I liked it.
And it was short.
Yeah, that's one thing I did like as well, because of the shitty pacing of this movie. The shortness of
was good.
It worked in its favor.
Yes.
So
for acting, I'm gonna give it a 6 as well, because it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
the acting was pretty bad. Even the kid, Tommy Doyle.
Yeah,
he's the boogeyman. Shut up.
Yeah, no, could have gone lower, but gave it a good rating.
Yeah.
Based on the few.
Plot, I did enjoy the plot. I really did. I'm gonna give that an 8 as well, and then overall, I think I'm gonna give it a 7. But like you said, the acting does take away from the overall score, just because if the acting was a lot better, I think the overall score from us would be higher.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, that brings us to the end of this episode.
Yeah, that's really it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah, seriously,
Thank you
happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Thank you for coming back. We really appreciate you coming back here, being on the show.
Yeah, it was great to have you back. And for those who are watching or listening, don't forget to go to oneshotmoviepodcast.com and get yourself some new merch.
Yeah. Promo code Myers for 15% off. That is MYERS.
That is it. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, and for all the support.
And don't forget to check out our social medias. Instagram is One Shot Movie Podcast Official. TikTok is One Shot Movie Podcast.
Yep.
Twitter is One Shot Movie Pod. Facebook is One Shot Movie Podcast. I forgot we had Facebook.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Everything's on our Linktree. It's in our bio on everything. So
if you want, go to linktree.com/One Shot Movie Podcast. You will find all of it there.
Everything there.
Or you could just go to our Instagram and we have the link there. TikTok's being a pain in the ass and won't let us put a link in that bio. So unfortunately, you'll have to, head over to Instagram.
Yeah. And there's no spicy links in our bio. So don't worry.
Unless you want them. No, I'm kidding.
Not selling feet pics.
No.
Not interested.
Feet Finder.
Feet Finder. Maybe then we'll have a bigger budget.
Yeah.
So
we'd be able to get more shirts.
There we go. Maybe.
Yo, guys.
We'll see. If you want to see
Let us know.
All right. No, we can't.
Yeah,
we can't. No. Thank you guys so much for listening and for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything like that.
Please, it would actually
really
help us out a lot. Hopefully for potential sponsorships in the future. So
it'd be nice.
Please, if you really liked the episode and you really enjoyed it, or if you even learned something, leave us a review. But that's pretty much it for this episode. Happy Halloween to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, our age demographic varies, so I mean,
it does.
Go get some candy, do whatever.
Go trick-or-treating or go to a party. Have some fun.
Yeah. Don't cause any mayhem. Stay safe.
Don't have premarital sex.
Or you will die.
Yes.
That's a wrap.